Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Hanseatic Dreamland, our Planet Coaster 2 Hamburg inspired park. Today we are adding go-karts, and I'm very excited to bringing this to you because this is a project close to my heart because I love karting. More about that in the video because I need to talk a little bit more about karting, cars, and just in general. But this is going to be fun because it's going to be a tough challenge to bring this track over here. But before, let's quickly talk about Instant Gaming. This is the sponsor of our channel. You will always find the link to Instant Gaming in the description and on the channel page. It's a website where you can basically get game keys for a very good value, and they always have great support and everything is reliable. You'll get your keys, and if not, you can just quickly contact them. You can also get DLCs and even in-game or like in-platform currencies, just like PlayStation and Xbox. And they also have almost every weekend there are some very cool deals you can grab. So check this website out. Check out if there's something for you in store, and you can basically get the games for good value. So check it out. It will be always available. Now back to the video. Obviously, we are now checking out the go-kart track, and it's already almost built. So I will basically talk you through this layout later on in the real-time part. It's not something super special because I needed to fit that in this region, but the main idea why I do pack this in here, and I'm going to talk about this a little bit more in the real-time part because I can show you, is because I want to make this track available also during the off hours of this park. So there's going to be a little bit of a connection possibility to the karting track and having this as an event location as well as in the park as a proper installment. But we are now getting into a phase of this project where I wanted to intentionally make things different from how real theme parks would work. Now, just to put that in perspective, the location of this go-kart track, where I put this in a grand scheme of a very planned theme park, would be absolutely horrible, okay? It's going to be blocking a very interesting way to get into a further area of the park. It's basically not placed very nicely when it comes to the buildings in general. It's not the best area to consider guest flow. And all of these things are fully intentional because at the end of the day, this project is a storytelling project that we have bought this abandoned harbor area. And in that means we have to overcome some challenges. So it's not always everything is straightforward and we don't have the money to move basically everything. So we have to deal with certain things. And my idea is that this area over here could have been an area where maybe the foundation overall isn't as great as some of the other areas. You couldn't go deeper because of the groundwater that would be in here, and so you would have a hard time to do something that requires a big basement or something like that. So we come in with the car track. But then also I figured that, again, you have to make money somehow, and if you don't want to just make the money off of the theme park as a whole and just like focus on the theme park, you need to have several more income perspectives. And for example, a go-kart track can be very good for like business meetings and just event location in general, and also have more opening hours than just for the park. And even though I talked about that already in the past, in Germany or like in Central Europe, it's very common that theme parks also have opened during the winter times, which seems to be different in the US, as I learned, or maybe even in other regions of the world. But it's very common that you only have a couple of months off time during autumn and like early spring, late winter, where basically refurbishments will be done. But like in deep winter even, you have specific openings of theme parks because they will make benefit of it and make some winter specials. And I even showed you that also on various occasions. There are some great videos of German parks where you have coasters in the snow, super cinematic stuff, like very great when you have like the coaster passing by and the whole snow is kind of blowing off the rails. Like it's mega, I love this, and that's why you usually have a lot more opening hours, or like opening times during the year, but you will not have it always. And that means to make money, you would need to make money off of different things. We already have the water park in here, which is kind of accessible. We have the wonderful big ship that is available to the public as well, without even the need to go into the park. And we will have more of these things throughout the build. as an element of this storytelling approach. So the karting track is going to be one of those things, and hence it has a placement that is strategically not very clever. And this is also why we are working our way now with a bridge and this overpath over here of the kart track, so that we do still have a bit of a gas flow opportunity where the guests can actually move through this area and enjoy it, whilst at the same time we still maintain this track as a more or less unique and focused area, you know, that can be used as an individual event location. It's not fully done at the end of the video, and I'll be completely honest with you, this time there's no further reason other than that I didn't have much more time, and I already spent a couple of hours onto this build, because it was a bit more tricky this time around. So it wasn't as easy going as normally, because I had to cut out a lot of stuff that I was trying, which just didn't work out, and I moved several things a couple of times because I wasn't happy with how they turned out looking, because I had a very specific idea in mind how things should look. And this is where we have to talk about karting in general and cars and mobility, maybe even. I don't want to go too far into it, but as you may know, I'm super into electric vehicles. I do own myself a very great electric vehicle. It's an Ioniq 5 for those who are wondering. We as a family, my wife and me, and even my daughter, we love this thing beyond imagination. It was a totally rational and non-emotional purchase. We bought this car simply because of monetary reasons and like financial reasons, because when we had purchased our house, there was the opportunity to have a photovoltaic kind of thing on our roof and producing energy on ourselves, and then it just kind of makes sense to have this opportunity for an electric vehicle as well. So we're saving a whole lot of money, but the car has a lot more advantages than that, and I just come to love electric vehicles as a whole. I love the way driving them. I love the way how you can utilize the opportunities of charging in a city and so on to really kind of bake this into your everyday life. I always have a smile on my face when people start discussions again about getting to fuel the car, and there's always like this argument that classic ICE cars obviously are so much faster to be fueled, and I'm like, yeah, but I don't even need to fuel anymore, because whenever I need to charge my car, I'm gonna plan that in a way that I won't be at my car anyway. So if I do need to charge it on during my daytime, I'm gonna plan this either where my parking spot is or when I'm gonna go for grocery shoppings or so. So I basically, all the time I have to, charge my vehicle is plug in the charger and then just leave. And I'm not even starting the charging while standing there. I'm gonna do this on the move via my smartphone. So that's simple as it can be. So I never really understand the argument. And then obviously 3 times a year when you're going for holidays, then of course on the highway you will have this little time difference, but I couldn't care less. Our vehicle does charge in 20 minutes, so that is totally fine. Less than 20 minutes actually. And with kids, you will always stop longer than 20 minutes anyway. So it doesn't really matter at all. Why am I telling this while we're building a go-kart track? Well, because obviously there would be electric vehicles as well, or electric karting, and I hate it. It's I'm a very specific person when it comes to this. I am very much differentiating between the sport of motor racing and the everyday individual mobility. I couldn't care less about an ICE car in the everyday anymore. I do still own my old BMW as a backup car, but I don't like driving it anymore. I don't like fueling it because it's freaking expensive. But if it's all about the fun of driving, on a karting track, on a motorway, I just love my good old ICE cars. Even though I have to say I had a test drive in the Ioniq 5N, which may change my mind in the future. But as for karting, I did try electric karting. It's fun though, but it's not the same feeling, because it just completely changes the way you drive karting, because in classic karting, it's all about maintaining momentum. It's all about weight balance and weight, and it's all about being able to read how your kart is behaving, and it's all about making sure to get that swing into corners and making sure to avoid, actually, funnily enough, avoid drifting. Even though it looks cool, it's not really the fastest way to move around the go-kart. It's more about leaning outwards and stuff like that to really get the most grip out of it and maintain the highest, like, velocity into a corner, to not lose as much of momentum, because karts are heavy and the acceleration isn't as crazy with those karts. You do want to maintain a certain velocity in order to be quick around the lap. And so I love that classic type of karting because it really involves the skill to do that. However, with an electric vehicle or an electric kart, it's quite the opposite, because those things have a lot more acceleration power and they are really quick out of the corners, but then again, their highest speed over a longer period of time, because of the load on the battery, is lower. So basically what you want to do is having a quick in and out of corners, and then making sure to reach highest velocity as quick as possible, and then, put everything in late braking to just, use the most of that highest velocity, the top speed, to maintain the top speed as long as possible. So that's a completely different way of driving. And I'm gonna talk about that whole thing, because what I want to talk about is that this is a classic kart track. However, it could be used by both type of vehicles. In this game, as of now, we obviously only have the good old, karts with a how's it called in English? In German, you would say a Zweitakter motor. It's like a, what's that, 2-cylinder motor? I don't know. And then very classic, like with fuel and oil and, very kind of dirty, but still very cool motor racing, the core of motor racing. I love it, and I think these few kind of karting areas will not change our world. It's more about the individual mobility of our everyday life, though. But yeah, I found this a very interesting story, and I just love the vibe of karting tracks. I love the vibe being around them. As I said, I always used to go on karting tracks when I'm on holidays, and I did a couple of those in Spain last year. I do want to do this again because it's, oh my god, it's so much fun on these outdoor tracks there. Oh, we also have like a timetable over here. I'm gonna create one myself and then put like a timing table on there, which is gonna be fun looking at them once this is done. If you guys want to create some graphics, by the way, and be part of this project, just as becoming member and becoming part of the project, this is your call, because the next members to be joining on the channel will actually be the ones on the timing table. I thought that's going to be a fun idea. So we will have a timing table of, I don't know how many cards that is. Let's have a quick look. I think it's 10 or 12. So the next 12 members will become the card drivers, and they will be the ones featured on the timing tables, which I think is going to be fun. So just as a heads up for the members, because I haven't done too much in the past. I had this idea in mind for a longer time already, so I will keep on doing these things. Also, by the way, fun stuff, these kind of inflatable mattress works as a very fun kind of rubber security wall. I don't know how to call that. Like, what you do have, and I couldn't find a suitable piece, but what you most likely have in these karting arenas is like that you have these columns, pillars, whatever is there to, support the ceiling. You don't want to have this as a hard obstacle to, like, when people crash into it. You don't want them to really hit the concrete or the iron. So what you most likely have is something to make sure that the impact is softened a little. So you do have some tires, apparently, as the karting track comes with, but also sometimes you have some like rubber bands and so on, just also to make sure that if they just briefly hit it, they don't just kind of destroy the kart or so. That's something we have. And I'm also going to do a little bit of a tire at the end of the video. I'm very proud of that design because it just turned out better than I expected, to be completely honest with you. I think there are a couple of pieces missing in the game, specifically when it comes to backstage props. I will still advocate for the fact that I'm not going to lean into the argumentation that we have too little pieces. That, for me personally, is an excuse of people to not get creative. And If you're a casual, I do understand this, and I always said that we need a lot of blueprints for those type of people, but we have a lot of creative people out there, and with the set of items, you can almost do everything. You know, we can argue there are a couple of things that are missing, and yes, I agree, specifically when it comes to very generic stuff, like backstage stuff and tires and like all these kind of boring things, which I assume is not going to come with like thematic packs. We really would need to have like a backstage prop pack or something like that. However, I'm still very happy because even with this build, you can see you can literally do anything you want. I also got creative with a couple of pieces to create these fake grass appeal of a karting track, and you know, just in general, I'm very happy with how it all came together at the end of the day. As always, like. And I think it's almost like with a painting. I consider also, by the way, I've been asked so often how I deal with like making so much YouTube stuff and still maintaining my life and, you know, going to work and doing a lot of over hours and overwork in the last couple of weeks. And the answer is relatively simple, because for me, doing YouTube and doing these videos is equally relaxing, because I see it as painting. Some people do painting, some people create music or whatever. For me, creating these areas in here is almost working like a painting. And for the longest part of the creation process, it looks very odd. And even to people, or like especially to people who don't know my vision, it needs to be very confusing to see what I'm doing. But for me, it all makes sense, and it's always funny because in the last couple of minutes of a video, most likely everything comes together, which I have so many comments saying exactly that. Like halfway through the video, I thought, what is this guy even doing? And at the end, it came together so well. And, you know, at the beginning, I was very confused about these type of comments, but now I understand, because it's almost like if you watch people paint, everyone has like a completely different technique, and some people you see a result very early on because they kind of function this way, and sometimes you don't understand what the heck they're even doing. They're just slapping colors on it and just changing forms and whatnot, and at the end of the day they are like just filling in the last couple of things, and all of a sudden it all makes sense. And this is how I also approach these things. So at the beginning it looks odd and weird, and then I'm adding things here and there and deleting things, and that's just my way to get really close to the result. And once I'm happy, it's going to be very quick, because then I know exactly what to do with the details. And one of those things is like these tires over here, typical kind of Pirelli inspired F1 tires, just to put them everywhere, also recolor them sometimes here and there, and then filling in also the indoor section. As I said, it's not fully done. Again, this time around, it's really down to me not having more time to finish it all off, but it is like 80% there. So the next episode is still going to deal with this area instead of doing something new, because I still need to fill in a couple of things. But I'm going to show you in a couple of seconds in the real-time part. It's easier to show you over there, because there's a whole lot of stuff to do. And I'm planning to actually live stream this. Maybe next week somewhere, we're gonna find out. Next week there's my last bigger presentation at work, and I think after that, maybe next Friday or so, I will have the time to finally stream again. Maybe it's gonna be then the next step already, I don't care, but like this is it. And now it's time to move over into the game and have a look how this area turned out to be looking. We are in game, and as you can see, we are now here standing in front of the kart track. I was just about, let me just quickly do this. Yeah, we can actually have a look from the bird's perspective first. And what I wanted to do is just to open that thing to see if people will actually go on it whilst we are having a little walk through this area, just to showcase a little bit what I meant by that. So as we come, and I'm just gonna go through this area, around here, you can see everything is secured by, like, you know, things like that will still be made sure that there's no one able to go in there. We don't want to have people get crushed. I'm not sure what exactly is happening over here. I will change the pathing a little bit and put some more barriers in. It is a very odd situation that they're all standing here, almost like as if there's a show. But there should be no problem for them to go through. We will also have a bit of a seating area down here and some timetables. That's going to be fun. And then you can see over here, This is then with like the kiosk area where we have the people, and then you can sit down over here. This is the exit area. You can have a little look at the starting grid, and once we also go over here, I mean, we can't really, can we get in? Yeah, we can, because there's like a pathway down here. I need to put some barriers more in, but I think the interior looks kind of fun, even though it's very like very bare bones. It's exactly how it should be. And then we have this overbank turn over here. I love the fact you can do this. So we have this overbank turn. Yeah, we're floating through the ground. It's going higher, and then the overbank turn going in here. It's going to be very hard turn to do, specifically with that harsh, oh my god, I should have smoothed that out. But it's fun. Like, if you know that, you definitely need to choose a wider line to not bounce your cart off there. But I think it's looking very fun. It makes great use of the indoor section of an area anyways. And then just come around that corner. Again, we will put some more stuff in here once I completely finish it. But you can also see that the... oops. Okay, I got to change something about this. Whoops. I didn't know it was that big, though. Yeah, no, I'm gonna change this. This looks odd and is not correct. But now we can also see the park of the other side. I love that. So finally we moved on to this side of the park, and we can see the other side in all its glory. And then this is where the seating area is. Just to give you a bit of an idea. Now, looking at it from the top, it's not quite there where it needs to be, simply because we will have a bit of a bigger building here. There's going to be a building that sits like this. Is also why there is no tree here. This spot over here will be covered with a building. If you remember my concept, this is going to be a big restaurant, and the idea about the restaurant, I thought for the longest time what this restaurant can be, but I'm going to make this restaurant a bit of a Route 66 kind of pit stop, motorhome vibe kind of restaurant. And it's gonna have a wonderful area down here by the river, like a floating seating area. And the reason why we do this apparently is because we are getting restaurants in the April update, so we can prepare that and then fit in the restaurant. As we do know, it will be the exact same thing as in Planet Zoo. I will know exactly how much space to be reserved for the restaurant. It's hopefully going to be a lot of fun then fitting that in and just sparing out some space for the tables to the outside. But looking at the car track now, I'm very happy with how that turned out looking. Specifically my fake pit lane over here, it's going to receive a couple more decals. Yeah, there are still... Hold on, what the heck? What the heck is happening? That looked like as if this guy is going to move to the top. Okay, I definitely have to do something about the pathing over here. I'm not even sure how they got here, because I did put a lot of barriers into the ground, which I think is the main reason why they are so confused in this space. Like, I'm not sure if does something change if I get rid of these things. Let's have a look if that changes the movement of people over here. Not quite. Okay, I gotta fix this off screen or so. I don't want to pay too much attention to this now, or I'm just gonna wait if the next update automatically fixes that. Might have to do with the guest flow update, and I don't know. But yeah, so overall, I'm very excited to how this area turned out looking. I mean, just that view over here is so cool. I forgot the cheat code. Otherwise, we could have just jumped in and have a little drive. But I mean, we can just fly over here real quick, take that inner curve, and then go up here, take that inner curve, set up the next turn very nicely indeed. Go down here. This one is a very challenging. You come down the hill, you will have a lot of momentum, and then you will need to find this specific, braking point. Do not brake into the turn, because you will then offset your cart, and you have to really pay attention to not brake and steer and go into the corner. And then still you want to take that momentum onto this longer straight over here. Then we have another turn. That one over here you can take a lot of speed through that one, making sure you go uphill. Actually, you know what? This one is actually clever to do a little slingshot around here anyways, and then go into that one, which is a good turn because that tightens up towards the end. I like that one. You have the feeling to go quicker into it, and you think you can go faster, which is exactly what you should do. Like, talking about the perfect line, you will be able to... let's do this. This is fun. So we're going to go and have a perfect racing line for this one. And then this can be a good idea. I'm also wondering, is no one going to go on that one? Let's have a look. I want to see them driving. I mean, apparently they will not be... Okay, everything is powered, everything is on. Are we missing a staff member? Not really though. Can they reach it? Is that maybe the problem? Look, there are some guests again. But they should be able to get here, right? There's like a lifeguard who's getting here. Yeah, it's a little bit odd. No one wants to really go to that one to the right. Or is that maybe I'm charging money and this is why? Fine, yeah, this is why. Okay, so I'm gonna put this to 0 and then people should be able to get here karting, which with my storytelling is not really the correct approach, because usually you should then say, you know what, you will charge money for karting. And so I think this is also one of the typical things. Usually in theme park things do not cost extra other than maybe fast pass, but funnily enough, karting tracks quite often. Okay, excuse me, where the heck are you all coming from? I think, wait, hold on. I don't want to fix that with you guys, but I think they are just coming, joining this one down here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly place this fence. All right, not sure what happened. I needed to fix a couple of things, and all of a sudden everyone is leaving leaving the park right now. Yeah, whatever. I'm gonna look into that later. But now we have all the time in the world to have a little look at the track, and then afterwards that shall be it for today's episode. Shouldn't be too important. I'm gonna fix this anyways. But as you can see, I'm also very happy about these flags. I mean, they're not the flags I would need. I would love to be able to have like a billboard flag that is animated too. That would be fun. But yeah, getting into this corner over here, we are going to obviously want to take as much speed in as we can and have a very wide line out here, taking a lot of speed in, and then you would want to target this corner over here and then go all the way outside. Make sure that you brake into it, lean very far outward to really get that speed still through that turn, because you want to go uphill with a lot more speed. So basically make sure that that line isn't too aggressive. Do not have as much too much steering. You could basically do this with a lot of easy braking. And then just, or actually not braking, but you just go off the throttle and then just coast around that corner to be very early on the power again. And then you go up the hill, and this is a bit of a more technical area. You come up here slower anyways, because of the uphill section that is going to cost you some momentum anyways. You go up here, and then once you go in here, you want to set up the second corner. You don't need to do this as much as you would need to if this is a normal straight or even uphill, because it's going to go down. You will build up momentum anyway, so you can take that one a bit tighter. So you're going to take the momentum in here, brake in to have a very short line. Make sure to shorten the line as much as possible, and then stick to the right hand side. Actually, don't go too wide to the outside, and then just make sure to let it go all the way down. And take that momentum into the corner. Make sure to steer in here, and you want to have that tiny bit over here to brake and set up the kart in the corner. Make sure to not go too much off the throttle, throw it in, make sure to not drift too much, and then take out the speed. So you go tight in, have to set up the braking, go very tight in here, make sure to keep coasting to the outside, and then full on throttle. Make sure to go really to this side over here, and then throw the whole kart in. Make sure to lean again very much against the side, so you will have from the outside to the inside, and then target this inner area to really make sure to almost straighten up, like you want to straighten up through here as much as you possibly can. Like go in here, straighten up as much as you can. And now it's getting fun. You will then keep yourself to the outside as much as possible, slingshot around here, and then search for the inner side. Lean to the inner side, and now this is a very fun, this is almost like in Bahrain. I'm not sure which turn it is. Is that 6, 7? I don't know exactly, but this is a bit more of a complicated one. You go in and you, while under steering, you need to brake for the next one. And then get the kart position. So you don't want to go to the full outside. You're somewhere 75% to the outside. Go to the inside. Make sure to get the momentum in as much as you can, because this is like a wider part of the track now. And this is a tricky one over here, because the way it's shaped, the corner wants you to go basically here, which is obviously very wrong, because you want to have as much speed for the main straight as well. So you want to be on the side here as long as possible, and then over here throw it in to really just tuck that little edge over here, and make sure to straighten up as quick as possible, going all the way to the straight, and then you're done. Oh, look at that, we get people finally. Let's just fast forward to see them drive once. Very interesting. So yeah, that is how you would technically take the perfect line. I mean, in this game, apparently, that's not how it works. We can just see them drive for a second. Yeah, I mean, programming-wise, this is much better than in the past, but it still is a bit odd. They are not really taking racing lines as much as they should. It's not as bad as it used to be. So following this one over here, he's okay. That one is a bit croppy. Yeah, see, this one is better. This one is better. And then yeah, well, this line is a bit weird indeed. So yeah, they're not taking the lines as they should. They're doing a lot of mistakes, anyways. Yeah. I like the fact we have some light now over here. This looks kind of cool. This looks kind of cool, not gonna lie. This is really cool. So that's been it. I really hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. I certainly did enjoy it a lot. That was a project very close to my heart, and I really hope you guys enjoyed as much as I did, because I certainly did enjoy it quite a lot. Doing these type of videos, being creative and doing different type of stuff much more often is very close to my heart. I really hope you enjoyed that. If you did enjoy, make sure to follow along. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And I apparently, oops, that was the wrong button. I apparently talk to you in the next one. Have a good one and bye.